What's up, everyone? I want to know, are you concerned about foster youth? Are you looking at the statistics of foster youth exiting the foster care system and committed to making a difference? Or has your life been touched by a former foster youth who has been able to turn it all around against all the obstacles and achieve the impossible? Look, I'm Crystal Lindsey, former foster youth entrepreneur and co-founder of The Fostered, and I am so excited to have my co-founder, James Poindexter III, here. How are you doing today, James?
I'm doing great. What's going on?
Oh, hey. Well, I know they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but if so, a video is worth 1,000,000. So as I go ahead and I want to give your introduction, I'm going to jump right into this really cool video and show a little bit about you. But just to sum it up, James is a speaker, author, former foster youth world champion, and martial artist, and he has committed his life to changing the way foster youth learn. So let me go ahead and show you what it looks like when you see a foster youth overcoming all of the odds.
At 15, I moved 21 times. But then finally at 15, I ran into some foster parents who were going to give me a chance. So my dad put me in ROTC. That's where it started. But I needed an outlet. So my mom put me in martial arts. It's amazing what you can do when somebody believes in you. So 5 years after I started martial arts, I won double gold at the Team USA trials, and I ended up on the USA team. Then we went to Jamaica, and I became the world champion. The transformation was so great that the foster care agency who I was under wanted me to come around and speak about my life and how I transformed.
We are talking about world champion here. So thank you so much, James. And what an incredible video. I just want to say you are truly touching the lives of so many people and really giving them hope, because I believe that being in foster care and just having any type of childhood trauma, it allows you to feel more truly. It allows you to tap into who you are. It allows you to create superpowers that people who have not been through trauma have not been able to tap into. And so through this, you and I have been able to come together and launch The Fostered, a nonprofit organization that is committed to changing the way foster youth learn. So James, I want to hear it from you right now. Why are you passionate about changing the way foster youth learn?
I'm passionate because as a former foster youth, there were a lot of things I didn't learn coming up. I moved so many times that I was just trying to survive at whatever home I was in at the time, whatever shelter I was in at the time, whatever school I was going to at the time.
Yeah.
And then I was getting shipped off somewhere else. And I didn't pick up life skills, things like checking accounts, savings accounts, credit, job skills, resume writing, these kind of things. I didn't pick any of this up until, I believe, right until I was almost emancipated. And then in that last year, I had to smash in a whole bunch of information, and then I was just out there. And that's not the right way to go. You know, most kids that aren't in foster care, they pick these things up over time, and they have a time to learn everything slowly and get it correct. But a lot of foster kids, they end up in a home and they don't pick up anything, and then they get out there and they need help. And I want to be the one that gets them ahead, so they don't get stuck like I did.
No, absolutely. And so it sounds like through your experience of really kind of getting the shotgun approach to life skills, you realize that there's a lot of holes there, a lot of gaps, a lot of unnecessary stress for yourself and for your foster parents, for everybody. For you to be successful, you had to figure it all out overnight, whereas the natural evolution of most children is more of an organic nature that takes time and nurturing, and people get over decades, literally, before they go into the real world and are expected to make a budget, balance a checkbook. I mean, if that's still a thing, right? You know, figure it out. Right?
Yeah.
What do? We go online and check our account, but same thing. So the reality is, while the world is changing, so is foster youth, right? And so is foster care. And so what was really your purpose and passion when you decided to come together and really help create a system, an organization called The Fostered? What was your passion in creating The Fostered?
There were multi goals and multi passions. I'm making up stuff now, but it was not just one thing. there were several things involved in this. I want to help the youth to be just that much further ahead when they get out on their own.
Yeah.
And we want to be a hub so that if they need help, they can come to us. But also, I want to help parents who have these kids, these youth, to understand what foster care was like from our side. Because of a lot of things, a lot of times a foster parent will take a kid and they didn't live it, so they don't understand, and then their patience isn't so great, and you have to, and it's mostly because they don't see it from our side, they see it from their side. So I like to help them with trainings and just show them how we see it from our side. That's what my book is about also. And also want to show appreciation to everyone who works in social work, and just so that they stay and help these kids out, because we need them. So it was a bunch of things. It wasn't just one thing.
Absolutely. You can see here that we want to change the way that foster youth learn. And this image here really encapsulates our approach, right? You got my silly antics where I'm looking a little funny, and then you've got James who's poised and strong and really giving his strength. So again, what we're doing here is really changing the way foster youth learn. We've created a nonprofit by former foster youth to change the way foster youth learn. So whether we're working with foster youth or charter schools or individuals on the younger, former foster youth scale, right? People have exited the foster care system, but maybe 18 to 22, or whether we're going after administrators and doing this top-down approach to really changing the way foster youth learn, we are committed to making sure that we're changing the way foster youth learn. So it's not just a shotgun approach. My story being in foster care, when I went through emancipation, can you believe it? I got 0 services. I didn't get a single workshop. I didn't get a single thing because I was property in California and Oregon. And so it gave me nothing. I got no approach to it. And I literally went to college for housing. And then from there, I had to figure out finances in life and et cetera, et cetera. So it is needed. It is necessary. Foster youth are struggling to be able to get heard and get seen and get the skills that are going to allow them to be successful in this economy. So obviously starting a nonprofit's a big deal, right? We didn't just team up for a one-time presentation. What were some of the challenges that we've experienced in kind of building this organization and getting to right here to where we are right now?
Oh, man. So putting together an organization takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of knowledge. And you specifically helped me by telling me to get a book. This book has helped a lot. Nonprofit Boards That Work, Maureen Robinson, great book. All you. And with that, we had to build a team. We're still trying to build our youth board.
Yeah.
We had to put together lots of forms when you're trying to do a nonprofit, lots of form filling out and meetings, and then all of our website and all these things that we're doing. There's a lot that goes into it to put it all together and then make it correct by government standards. It's just a lot of work. It's not something you can do overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you really laid out our approach, right? Obviously being legal and legit, very important. Obviously having more youth on our youth advisory board to really keep us fresh and knowledgeable, because again, we are former foster youth. We've been in the system. We know what it's like to be in this revolving door of strangers and, really just be desperate for somebody to spend more than 6 months with us in some capacity, and see something in us. We know what that feels like, but we don't know what it's like right now. We don't know what it's like this year or what it's going to be like next year. And so we've actually are creating a board of youth advisories to be able to keep our trainings fresh and on point and make sure that we're always delivering the best trainings. So again, we could change the way that foster youth learn. So we really went through, we wanted to be legit. We built our board. We're building an incredible team. Special shout out to Zania Sims, our secretary of the board, Scott Lindsey, who is our chairman of the board. And we are actively looking for our chairman of the Youth Advisory Board. So we've really gone above and beyond to really build an incredible organization from scratch so that we can really make this impact. So tell me, James, how has this already begun to change people's lives?
So right now, I mean, we do trainings. I do trainings for foster parents, and my trainings give them a view of how foster care is from the kids' side, and so that helps to change. And that training counts as credits toward their continuing education units that they have for recertifying. So that helped. And then someone special here, don't know who it is, speaks at schools and talks to youth. How about you going off on that? Tell us about that.
Well, I'm really doing a resiliency training. And this is one of the key things I'm realizing, that people who come from, traumatic backgrounds, whatever that means. You could say underserved youth, underprivileged youth, whatever you want. I say if you just come from a traumatic background, then by default, society thinks you're at a disadvantage. But what I do believe is that by definition, you are in fact stronger, not weaker. And so I'm really doing this training on how to use gratitude and problem solving, and really training your brain to use resiliency and set you ahead and overcome any obstacles. And so I am working with the charter school. I'm going to be speaking to over 400 middle school and high schoolers on that. That's going to be powerful. I just got to speak at Accelerated Growth Club to a bunch of entrepreneurs, and really found out that our message is global. So it doesn't matter if you're a former foster youth. If you need resiliency in your business, we've got something for you. But again, our commitment is really to the youth, and really helping them understand that anything is possible. And don't let anybody tell you that, in fact, you are disadvantaged because you went through foster care. In fact, you are supercharged if you have somebody help you unlock those skills. And so that is exactly what we're doing here, and really creating an incredible ripple effect, and putting a former foster youth on our youth advisory board in leadership roles, giving them employment services, helping them with their LinkedIn and their resume building, and interview skills as a reward for being part of our board. So working on an individual level there. At the larger scale, at the charter schools, we're looking to get into universities and start talking to social workers as they're still in their training. Yes. And we're building up, and we're talking to administrators and think tank and people who are actively working with former foster youth and want to hear what it takes for former foster youth to be successful. So again, we are going on a multifaceted approach to really changing the way that foster youth learn. So this is our passion. This is why we're here. So again, for the record, I want to be really clear about what our vision is. Our vision for the fostered is that people who have been through a traumatic background are able to get the tools, techniques, courses, trainings to be able to unlock those superpowers and be able to make a difference in this world. We believe that each person, regardless of their background, has unique gifts to offer this world, and that by listening to society and being underprivileged or underserved or whatever those words are, is actually hurting those young people. And instead, we're changing the language, we're changing the trainings, we're giving courses on self-improvement and professional development and, motivational speaking and martial arts and fitness and self-defense. These are not typical things that are included when people think about independent living skills. But the reality is these are independent living skills that we use every single day. So again, we are very much committed to changing the way foster youth learn. And I want to know here, James, tell me, how can somebody stay in contact with you as our executive director, our fearless leader? If somebody wants to learn more about the fostered, they want to talk to you, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
The best way for me is going to be my email, james@thefostered.org. That's going to be the number one way. I know there's lots of social media out there for the youngsters that'll be laughing, oh, he's using his email. Okay, it's cool. But I answer email quicker than I answer anything else. So when I see the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram notifications, if I see email, I'm answering that first. And I will usually answer it within 2 or 3 minutes of getting it. So if you really want to conversate with me, hit me at that email and I'll answer, I'll say within 5 minutes.
Wow, that's a big commitment. So James here is taking personal emails. So if you are an administrator or a resource parent, or you're somehow connected with foster youth and you want to get the cutting edge trainings for your program, this is what you need to do, is reach out to us at James@thefostered, and you will get directly in contact with him. You can get in contact with me by having Crystal@the fostered. Okay, so just know if you're a resource parent or if you're a foster care administrator, this is your chance to get trainings from foster youth who've been in the system for your foster youth. Let's change the way foster youth learn. And if you are a young person out there, or a young adult, shall we say, you know, we're young until what, 35? I don't know. I'd like to think we're young until we're 50, right? But if you're a young adult out there and you're a former foster youth and you want to get involved and you want free employment services and get your LinkedIn redone and get your employment, you know, resume on point, get your interview techniques, get, you know, all of these professional skills that you need to be successful and get ahead of the average person. You're not the average person, you're a cut above. So if you're a cut above, I want you to also contact us, James at The Fostered, so you can be able to get connected. And again, you can reach me at Crystal at The Fostered as well. And with that, I want to say thank you so much for your time today, James. What an honor it has to have you on the broadcast. We have so much in store for young people. I can't even begin to tell them what we're going to be putting out, but get connected with our social media channels. You are not going to want to miss this. We bring the fun and the seriousness as it's appropriate to change the way youth learn. So have us talk in front of your next group so you also can change the way foster youth learn. And with that, we'll see you on the next broadcast. See ya.
All right.